The night was cold and the mansion's grandeur could not hide the chill that settled inside Jungkook's chest. Her delicate hands trembled slightly as she set the dinner table, careful not to drop the cutlery. The grand chandeliers above her sparkled, but her eyes remained downcast, filled with uncertainty. She had not seen Jungkook all day. That was not unusual. Being married to the most feared mafia boss in the country was not easy. Jungkook, Jeon cold, ruthless, and terrifying to most, had married her 6 months ago in an arranged marriage she had no say in. And since then, her life had become a blurred mixture of luxury and loneliness. But last night changed everything. He had slapped her. It was not just the physical sting, but the way his eyes had burnt with rage, the way he shouted, the way she had cried. It was the first time he had touched her like that, and now she was scared of him. It had all started over something small, a phone call. The young had answered Jungkook's private line when he was not home, something she did not know she was not supposed to do. A man had asked for Jungkook, and before she could reply, Jungkook had entered the room. Who gave you permission to answer that phone? His voice had been low and cold. I was just trying to help it range, and I thought it might be important. The young had replied nervously. That line is for business. You don't touch it ever. His eyes were blazing. I did not mean smack. The sound had echoed in the marble hallway. She had stared at him, wide eyed, a palm on her burning cheek. He looked at he looked just as shocked as she was, but instead of apologizing, he turned and stormed away. Since then, the young had not spoken a word to him. She kept to herself. Polly left her room. Her laughter, once soft and occasional, had completely disappeared. Every time she heard his footstep in the corridor, her body froze. She hated that she was scared, but she was the young. His voice called that evening, deep and distant. She flinched. Yes, she answered hesitantly, standing by the kitchen counter. He walked in, his expression unreadable, dressed in black, tattooed hands in his coat pockets. He looked like a storm. I am going out. You will be alone tonight, he muttered, avoiding her eyes. She simply nodded, and then he pushed, watching her. He noticed how stiff she looked, how she avoided eye contact, how her hand slightly shook as she reached for the glass of water. A knot tightened in his chest. He left without another word. That night Jungkook drove through the city, but his mind was not on the job. His men spoke to him, but their voices faded in the background. He kept replying the moment over and over. Her shocked face, her hand over her cheek, the crack in her voice. I did not mean. He slammed his fist into the car door in frustration. Damn it, you okay, boss? The right hand man, Namjoon asked. Drive back, Jungkook ordered. But we are meeting the Russian buyers. I said drive back. Back at the mansion, Taehyung was curled up in bed. She had not eaten much. She had not cried either. She was simply numb. When the front door opened and Jungkook's footsteps echoed in the hall, she tensed. He was back. The door to their shared bedroom cracked open. She instinctively sat up, pulling the blanket closer around her. He stood at the door for a moment, watching her. The young he spoke softly. She did not reply. He walked in slowly, stopping a few feet away from her. I should not have done that. No answer. I did not mean to hit you. It was angry, but that does not justify it. Her fingers tightened on the blanket. I am not scared of guns, of cops or death, but seeing you flinch at me like that, it scared me more than anything. Her eyes lifted to meet his for the first time. You hurt me, she whispered. I know, he said brokenly, and I hate myself for it. The days passed slowly. Jungkook gave her space. He did not sleep in their room. He stayed quiet during meals. He did not touch her, but he was always near, watching, waiting. One evening, as she sat in the garden, he brought her a bowl of strawberries, her favorites. He looked at it, then at him. I don't know if I can trust you again, she said honestly. I don't accept you too, but I will wait for how long? For as long as it takes. She looked away, tears forming in her eyes. He sighed. I have hurt many people in my life, but you are the only one I regret hurting. One night it started to rain heavily. The young's windows would not close properly, and she struggled to latch it. Suddenly, strong arms reached past her and closed it for her. She turned around, startled. Jungkook, you will catch a cold, he said softly. She stared at him for a long moment. I miss the version of you I first met, the one who used to secretly leave outside my door when I could not sleep. A sad smile crossed his face. He's still here, I just lost him for a moment. She stepped back, letting him stand there silently. I am not ready yet, she whispered. I know, he replied, but I am here. One morning, the young collapsed in the kitchen. She had not been eating properly. The stress, the emotional trauma, it had all catch up. Jungkook rushed her to the hospital, panicked. He held her hand the whole time, whispering apologies under his breath. When she woke up, she saw him sitting by her side, holding her hand tightly. Why are you crying? She asked weakly. Because I thought I was going to lose you, he whispered. I thought you did not care. She said. He leaned on, kissing her hand. I care too much. That's the problem. I don't know how to show it without hurting people. Then learn, she said. From that day forward, Jungkook changed. He spoke to her more gently. He never raised his voice again. He helped her with small things like brushing her hair, cooking with her, even watching dramas at night. He started attending therapy secretly. Namjoon knew. No one else did. He learned about his temper, about how trauma had shaped him, about how to love without fear, and the young slowly began to smile again. One evening, Jungkook stood in front of her holding a small velvet box. I don't accept forgiveness, but I want to start over, he said. She opened the box. Inside was a ring, not the mafia heirloom she wore now, but a new one, simple, silver, delicate. Will you marry me again? Not because our families told us to, but because I will spend the rest of my life proving that I can be the man you deserve. The young stared at the ring, then at him, and for the first time in weeks she smiled. Okay, she whispered. He let out a breath. He did not know he was holding and hugged her tightly, gently this time. Not as a mafia boss, but as a husband learning how to love again. The end.